Simon Boyar is a visionary. He has taken an instrument that's played by many, many people and has found the most unique voice.
So this is it. This is the marimba.
Some students, you know, they feel he's a little out there, but I mean, you kind of have to be in this world.
All right, that's good. Let's stop right there. That was good. That's good. No, it's an 8-foot-long instrument, and I have to get it to the place I'm going to play every time. It's a little bit taller than me, but that's okay. They're like, what is this guy doing? This little guy running back and forth with these resonators, and my instrument's bigger than me, so it's really funny looking. There's sometimes a little bit of, does he really have to do this? Couldn't he just play trumpet or flute or violin? I was a drummer, actually. I was going to be a rock star. I still am. I was not conditioned to do this in any way, shape, or form. My parents are not musicians. There are prominent musicians in my family. My mother's Paula Boyar, and Stan Getz, you know, is a relative. So there is that, but in my direct family, none of it. When I was 11 years old and I started playing drums, it was initially noticed by my teachers that I had a lot of talent. And then, you know, a week and a half later, my mother tells me that Stan Getz died and we're going to his funeral, and, you know, you're going to sit in the family spot and it's the front row and there are all these famous musicians there. Just so happens that it's in my blood. I didn't actually start playing marimba till I was 16 years old. I didn't actually read treble and bass clef till I was 16 years old. When I got to high school, we had a jazz band, and I wanted to play drums in it, but we already had a really fantastic drummer in there. So there was the vibraphone kind of sitting off in the corner, and I kind of started actually faking it. And then around my junior year in high school, I auditioned for Juilliard pre-college and really learned how to play mallets and marimba. And then what happened that really took this off was less than a year into playing marimba, I took an audition for the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra Young Artist Audition, and to my complete surprise, I won. It was just an interesting experience because I really came to it by accident.
Ten years later, leading composers and orchestras from around the world turn to Simon to play difficult percussion and marimba solos.
Today I'm at Lefrak Concert Hall, Queens College. I'm recording the first marimba work ever written by Elliott Carters. Take it from me, someone who doesn't play specific music. This is very specific. And I did the world premiere May 2nd, and I was honored when they asked me to record the piece today. Hi, David. Nice to meet you. Bridge Records actually asked me to do it. They've won Grammys for recording Carter's music before. Okay. Elliott Carters is actually one of the most important composers of the 20th century. A lot of people make that argument. You know, he stood at the world premiere, which was really cool. You know, he's 100 years old. I mean, you have to say that every time. At 100 years old, he continues to write constantly. This is middle C, right? Like right around.
Yeah, let's see how it sounds.
It's very methodical and mathematical in its construction. I think and for me personally, because of my background and all the different stuff I do, that's where the challenge is, because I'm really almost not that kind of player, despite the fact that I always get called to do projects like this. I often get called by composers who write the hardest music.
Simon teaches at NYU, where he also conducts his students in a one-of-a-kind marimba ensemble.
Simon is also an iconoclast. because he threw out many traditions that he didn't see fit well for him as a musician, and this is now transferred and shared with the students. He's developed a highly refined methodology in manipulating the mallets. His own technique, we call it the Boyar technique, and indeed it's named after him.
I achieved a lot of success, playing with orchestras and as a teacher and doing classical music, and I wanted more. I would turn on the radio. I wanted to be a part of a much larger audience. I wanted to write my own music, and whether that be arranging or whether that be, songwriting, I just think that I had to get my voice out there.
Simon regularly plays club dates and recently joined trumpeter Joey Perro at the Metropolitan Room in New York City.
Simon and I went to Juilliard together, and then we decided to put marimba on the track on my debut record and work together, and it was almost like, the stars aligning.
Simon Boyar.
Making my first EP, my first release, I guess, professionally as an artist, and it's based on the sound of water. That's my template. And I'm using the marimba ways to create that sound. The different direction, because where I come from in classical music, it's so far out there from what anybody's doing. But I listen to so many different kinds of music, and I play so many different kinds of music that when I started writing, I didn't just start writing notes. I started writing beats and using samples and stuff. And I just start to mess around.
Sounds like a water drop. Chicka-cha-cha, 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 chicka-cha-cha. Careful, the rain can start ta-ta. Even when you're using your umbrella, don't matter what you built up around you, people gonna go flow like water.
When people ask me questions like, do you like Elliott Carter, or do you like this, or do you like that, it's always hard for me to answer, because my vantage point for all of this is that most people I meet, they either like Elliott Carter and don't like hip-hop, or they like hip-hop and they don't like Elliott Carter. And you can actually juxtapose those two things with anything. Rock and roll versus Bach. Genre, huge part of the 20th century and the way we thought in the 20th century. Everything has to be categorized, and I think for me, I like both. I like Carter and I like Jay-Z. And I like Miles Davis and I like Beethoven. For me, in the age of the iPod, where all the music is in one place, I just hear it all as music.